Hi guys, Chuck here once again for the cheapbastard.net, and we got an email that came in, and the email was from Junie, and she wanted to know what are some solutions for long-term grain storage. It's a great question, because long-term grain storage isn't just for the guys who are hoping or looking forward to a Mad Max blowout of society, or guys that are hiding down their bunkers. For everyday people, and it's what your grandparents did as well too. They stored up their grains while the grains were available, and it lasted them throughout the hard seasons at the same time. Well, technology has allowed us a few additional comforts to make that whole process a little easier and to preserve the grain a little better. So stick around, we're going to take you through the process today. Some of the advantages of storing grain is that you're able to buy it in bulk. When you see it on sale, and when it's available at a very low price, buy then. And buy whole grains. Try not to buy flours or something that's already been processed, because the lifespan is going to be reduced greatly. If you can get your own either grain mill, corn grinder, or something that will allow you to transform the whole coarse grain into a final product like a flour or a meal, that's even better. And the grain will for items such as grains and corn and things and vegetables and legumes and things that have a hard shell around them, they store much better than if you would ground them down, and then the clock starts ticking and the lifespan starts getting smaller and smaller. So today I'm going to take you through long-term grain storage for something like white corn, for example. So let's go through the process. Okay, some of the things we're going to need for today's example is you're going to go to the hardware store and buy yourself a 5-gallon bucket with a lid. The lid is key to the operation. Now, some places will tell you you're going to need a fancy food-grade bucket, which is about 4 times more. But the purpose of the bucket is to create a hard physical barrier to store your grains in. That's to keep out mice, bugs, things like this. It's not actually meant to be the vessel that seals up the air. It's just a hard storage armor around what you're going to do. Okay, so we've got our bucket here. They usually go for between $3 and $6 depending where you want to shop around, and factor in another $2 for the lid. And you can never have enough of these, because even after you empty the bucket, it can still serve a million purposes around your home, for the mop or for washing the car or whatever you have to do. So we have the 5-gallon bucket, and we're going to get a 6-gallon Mylar bag. What we're going to do first is take the Mylar bag. Now the Mylar bag, when you buy them in bulk, you can usually get them for $1, $1.25 each, and they are reusable. After you seal them and open them back up, you just trim them down and reseal them again until you just have not enough bag to work with at the end. So we're going to open it up, place it inside the 5-gallon bucket, and there will be overlap. There's going to be excess. So we just spread it out around the corners here, okay? Just like that. Now we're going to take 1 or 2 oxygen absorbers and throw them at the bottom of the Mylar bag. They're pretty cheap oxygen absorbers. They come out to about 25 cents each in the end. So I'm going to throw 3 in there for now. And we're going to stack a few as we move through. So what I have here are, these are little iron oxide oxygen absorbers. What they do is they convert oxygen into rust. So this is the same type of stuff that your car is made out of. Or if you've ever gone to a hardware store and bought those little hand warmers that you break open in a bag and they automatically heat up, it's the exact same thing. It's iron oxide particles trapped inside of a bag. And what their job is to convert oxygen and atmospheric moisture into rust. So after being exposed to the elements for a couple of minutes, if I were to open this up, we'd see a pack of rust. Now we can't leave these exposed to the air too long, because they're going to start doing their job right away. So it's good to have on hand a mason jar, something that's airtight with a lid. You throw whatever oxygen absorbers you're not using today into the mason jar and seal it up right away, because these guys go to work without hesitation. So from the time you open the pack, you've got a few minutes to get your act together. So let's start working now, huh? Okay, so what I went out and did is I bought myself a 50-pound bag of whole white corn. Okay? Again, it hasn't been shelled, it hasn't been washed, but we want to get it out of this plastic and nylon bag as soon as possible, because it's going to start to accumulate moisture. So we're going to get this out of the bag. We probably won't fit the whole bag in here. There's going to be leftover, and in another segment I'll show you what we're going to do with the leftover. So we've got 3 oxygen absorbers in the Mylar bag inside the 5-gallon bucket here. So let's start moving our stuff inside, okay? Next, I'm going to throw a couple more oxygen absorbers in there. I'm going to bury some deep down. because there's air holes in between the corn, unlike finer stuff, like say flour or even rice. The holes of air, the pockets of air between the corn are larger, so you can afford to throw a few more oxygen absorbers in there. So corn is in the bag. We're 3/4 of the way there now. We fill up the corn just shy of the rim because we're going to need about maybe 2 inches of extra space to fold back the bag for sealing. So what you're going to do is a little like this. You'll take the bag, sort of pop it around a bit to make sure everything's compacted nicely in there. With the corn in the bag, we're going to take the bag, push as much air out as possible, just like so. Take something like a long piece of a furring strip, or maybe in this case a 4-foot level. We're going to put it over an edge here, and we're going to create a hard line edge somewhere on the bag. Doesn't really matter. There we go, and we create the hard line edge right across here. Next, take an old iron, preferably not something that the wife is going to care much about, or your roommate for that matter. Take a steam iron. It doesn't need to be super hot. Set it on a medium setting. You're then going to run it across the straight edge on either the furring strip or the 4-foot level, and that'll create a nice tight seal all the way around. Don't be shy about overdoing it. Go all, because it's not going to burn through. Go make sure you have a complete seal all the way from edge to edge. Even go overboard along the way on the travel of the iron. With that done, your bag would then now be sealed. And tuck the excess inside. Put on your $2 lid. Snap it down tight. Use a wooden mallet or a rubber mallet or a hammer, whatever you have. Take your Sharpie pen. Label whatever's on top. In this case, we're going to write white corn. And put the date on it, which is very important. So in this case, we are March 2011. And there you go. So there you have it, courtesy of the Cheap Bastard. For under $10, you put together your own grain and long-term food storage system. You have your hard shell, you have your soft inner shell, no UV rays getting in there, you have no bugs, no gamma rays, no kryptonite, nothing's coming in there. Your food is preserved for the next 6, 12, 18 months, depending on what you stored. You can do it with corn, you can do it with rice, you can do it with flour, and you can do it with beans. The imagination is your only limitation. So, thanks for watching once again. This has been Chuck Barnett for thecheapbastard.net. See you next episode. Wait. Hold everything. I forgot one last thing. In case you have excess grains that couldn't fit inside the 5-gallon bucket, don't be shy to go to your local Home Depot or paint supply store and ask them for brand new empty 1-gallon cans for latex paint or whatever paint they're using in the store. They cost about $2 each, and they're a great place to put your excess grains that didn't fit in the bucket and work it into your weekly kitchen pantry. So for short-term storage, we'll call this one. So you can put a gallon of flour, a gallon of beans, a gallon of grains, whatever you're using without disrupting your long-term supply. They have an enamel lining, so you can either use a bag liner on the inside, or depending on what they are, pour them inside. Do your research, find out a little bit more. I don't have all the answers, but I have some of the answers. Once again, keep it tuned. cheapbastard.net. I'm Chuck Barnett.